Hey, I haven't thought of what I'm going to say yet, but it's so beautiful. Anyway, I wasn't going to do a video, but it's so beautiful. I wanted to share it. So this is going to be a short one, you think, right? Look at the mustard weed. I saw a post the other day on this Facebook group that I just joined that was like, I think it's Mindfulness Man or Mindfulness. I forgot the name of it, but someone put a post that said the only difference between a weed and a flower is judgment. I'm loving these mustard weeds, whatever we want to call them. Last night I saw bioluminescence in the ocean. There's red algae or something that causes bioluminescence. And anyway, here's another supposed weed. They're growing really tall other places here. So sometimes we judge other people. I know this as a psychologist, but then I forget it as a person. Oh, by the way, my name is Dr. Cheryl Meyer, and I am a psychologist and I guess YouTuber. No. I was thinking about sort of like the judgment. If you have an idea of, I'm going to make this into a video, then you look at all of nature in a different way. You know, like one time during this whole thing that we're going through, it's almost over, I hope, is there was a guy walking up here. He's like, well, you got to get in our steps. I'm like, what are you talking about? It was really weird to my mind because I'm like, I'm not out here to get in steps. Like, I'm glad that it caused my body to be more fit than it was. And I can run now. Like, I could run before, but it's really fun to run. Gosh, I never thought I'd say that. But because, I see people running sometimes. I'm like, what are you running from? Like, it just seems, I think I was so neurotic back then, not to judge everything or anyone, or even myself, but I was always running around, and then it wouldn't make sense when people were just running, because it looked like that U2 song, Running to Stand Still, you know. But, so back to the idea of, if I'm going on this hill to get my steps in, you know, whatever, it's probably, if we look at the scale of things on life, there might be more healing that you just got outside, even if you are trying to get your steps in. So it's not to put anyone down wherever they are on their road. That's important. It's like, oh gosh. Oh good, okay. I'm almost at the end of this hill, then there's another hill up there. That's where I go to see the ocean. Not to see the ocean, but the ocean is there. So it's not ever to judge anyone on their own path or yourself. Be where you are, you know. I know that sounds like one of those really profound, simple things, but today I was like, oh, what am I going to listen to, or what am I going to do on this path? And then I was just like, I want to do nothing but be present with nature, be in my body. Like, this is so weird. It's something so simple, but I think it was in an Eckhart Tolle video the other day, or I can't remember where, but I got it like 3 different ways. So when you hear something 3 different times, 3 different ways from 3 different people, like a song or whatever, like, I think it's important to listen. Like in the Bible or something, if there's amen, 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 that means like, listen. Hi. Wow, that guy was so sweet. And it's hard to get up this hill on a bike, but he's rocking it. He's just chilling. It's like 65 maybe? I'll remember. Oh, crow. Oh, I know what I was saying. Yes, being in your body. Being in your body. What he said was, he was talking about someone with eating disorders, and that's one of my specialties. I work with mostly women. 80%, I think, 80 to 90% of people with eating disorders are women. So when I'm working with someone with an eating disorder, I might have to say hi. Hi. Lots of people. I'm on the main trail. Usually I park to do these, but I have to meet a friend, so I gotta do this on the run today. I figured it'd be good to see nature. Maybe I'll go over to this lookout place. It's so beautiful. What he said. Oh, bunny, bunny. So cute. It was too fast for me to get on the camera. What he said about being in your body. Because he said if people had eating disorders, or distorted body images, if they would get in their body more, then their body would tell them, what to eat or how to fill themselves up in a more balanced way. I think I have more time. My friend says she's going to pick up the dinner. Look at this. That's a crow, but I'm not going to judge it, right? It doesn't matter if it's a weed or a hawk or a crow. I've seen a lot of crows today. Look at this view. There's the canyon. There's the ocean. Mustard weeds in the wind. Oh, but you guys are going to hear the wind. I'll just sit down on the ground. Oh, I love her tattoos. A girl just walked by. Oh, she had a snake tattoo. Okay. So, all right. So, getting in your body is, if you take a deep breath and you just, it's hard to put into words, but I do it a lot in my meditations. It's like you have an etheric body, like an astral body. You don't have to know what all this is, but it's just an energy body, let's say. And so if you put your consciousness in your toes and you just wiggle your toes inside your body and then wiggle your calves and wiggle your thighs, like just clench them a little bit and then be in your stomach and your womb area if you're a woman, or just that area if you're a man, whatever, and then your solar plexus and then your heart center, and here's your throat. And your face, and you can think of both sides of your brain. But if you ground yourself, I've talked about grounding yourself a little bit before, but someone told me the other day, an intuitive woman that I was working with, gosh, I loved her. I only got to talk to her for one session so far. I don't know if I'll spend money for more. Not right now, because anyway, but she was saying, to me, I love healers, she was saying, you're so up in the etheric, in like the 5D, that you guys don't have to know what that is either, but it's just so up in the heavens. Let's say I meditate a lot, and it's, if you don't feel safe in your own body in childhood sometimes, then you leave your body a lot, or I don't leave my body. It's hard to describe. You can daydream a lot. It's kind of like daydreaming. You guys got to see the ocean again here. And so she said, you're so up there, it's hard for people to find you, you know? Let's put this in normal words for you guys, because I study all the higher consciousness stuff and metaphysical stuff and psychology and the mystics. And you guys know me already. Like, I integrate all of it because I love all of it and I appreciate so much of it. And I appreciate the mystics in lots of different religions because they go the deepest. I see. They experience. There's a crow again. I mean, they say, I loved it, this Greek Orthodox book I was reading on saints. They were talking about back in the old days, like in the 300s. They would call theology, you weren't a theologian just because you went and got a degree. You were, theos is God. Logos is like the word, but ology, let's see. Oh, there's a hawk down there, but you guys aren't going to see it on my little camera. I might get a new phone. Ology means the study of. So it's like a theologian is actually someone who experiences God on a deep level. So anyway, if you ground yourself, then you get in your body. Eckhart Tolle was saying, then you're more present with the people around you. You can be more in the moment. So he says, practice it just a little bit at a time. Like me just getting in my body, feeling the inside parts of my body, I'm sitting on the ground, then I'm more present with you. And so also when you don't have a certain agenda, there's a Tribe Called Quest song, but I can't quote all of it. But I love there's this part of it said, relax your mind, no preset plan, something like that. I heard it a long time ago. So that part stuck in my mind, but it's kind of like that idea is when you learn how to stay in the flow. You're not having a preset plan. You have no plan other than being right here, as fully present as you can in this moment. Look at the bee. Wonder if you can see that guy over there. When you do that, you don't know what you're going to find. You don't know what's going to unfold in yourself, what's going to unfold in the person in front of you that you're present with, not on your phone with. On your phone while they're next to you. Remember back in the days when we'd go to restaurants when they were open, and you'd see like 6 people all on their phones next to each other. Not always, but sometimes I would see that. Or 3 kids and 4 adults. Most of them were on phones. So instead of listening to like the podcasts I had planned or the meditations or the lectures, I was just present, and I felt like this oneness with nature, and like in a way I'd never felt before. It's like one morning I was in Turkey and I was waiting for the sun, and I didn't look up. What time is sunrise? I didn't know. And besides, the sun was coming up behind a mountain, so I had to wait after sunrise. So I waited for like an hour and a half, and I was just trying to be present. And it was early in the morning, obviously, it's before sunrise. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting for the sun. And I was so present for so long when the sun came out, it was like this, like we were like best friends, and I love you, sun. And I knew my relationship with the sun would like change from that day on, and it has. It's the weirdest thing ever. I was so not a nature person before. I'm like, shh, don't tell anyone. It's fine, tell whoever you want. I wasn't, I think because I didn't feel at home in my body very much in childhood. I did when I was playing as a child, running around. I posted a picture today on Twitter of my grandmother's farm, just down by the lake, the pond. And at camp, I'd go to camp 4 weeks every summer for a month. And we would just be outside running and like doing sports all day, every day. I loved that. And I was a gymnast, so I loved being in my body in those kinds of ways. But along the lines of that quote about, what's the difference between a weed and a flower? Look at this. It's just judgment. It's like, even Eckhart Tolle was saying, when you see a rose and you teach a child, this is a rose, he said, say this is called a rose. Because then, oh look, I'm all sunburned from yesterday. Then you're not limiting. You have no preset plan of what that is. Like, what is this? I could stare at this for an hour. I probably wouldn't have the patience to be that present. But like I was waiting for the sun for that long hour and a half. Just be with yourself. Be with another person. Be present with nature. I mean, this is all just invitation. I try never to tell people what to do. Not ever. All these videos I'm making, and I'm still, you can look. I'm inviting. Always it's an invitation. Be with the landscape. I love John O'Donohue. He has this lots of beautiful poems, but he is this Irish poet, philosopher, and priest, I think, as well. But he just talks about, the inner landscape of your soul, and he does it with his Irish accent. Go to the inner landscape of your soul. Oh, I can't do his accent, but it's so, so beautiful how he describes it. I'm just thinking in my mind, just find yourself. And I was saying, find yourself. And be loving and gentle to that part of yourself. Love him or her or whoever you are. Love who you find. It's an invitation again. You can learn how to be present and let your heart sing. I know that sounds cheesy, but I've loved thinking about it lately. Be kind to yourself. Be tender-hearted. Open your arms wide to yourself. Allow love. I remember I was teaching a weekend seminar once to women, and they asked me questions. They put them, quietly in a box, anonymously. And one of the women asked, are you sure it's not selfish to be loving to yourself? And I was like, it was a Christian place, but I was like, the Bible, it's like they taught love God, love your neighbor as yourself. Like, if we don't know how to be kind and not judgmental towards these parts, our shadow selves, or the parts of ourselves that we don't like, or the parts of ourselves that we wish we could get rid of, or whatever it is, if we can't welcome those parts of ourselves, then we split them off and we judge other people and we think all our bad is on them, and we're not loving them or us. So yes, be generous with love. Invite yourself to grow a taste for higher paths and higher things and higher ways of being, of course. But love yourself where you are. It can't ever be, I'll love you once you change. That's what I learned from nature today. All right, I wish you guys so much love. Here's the ocean today once I got to the top. It's so pretty. I don't know if you guys can see the red algae. All right, much love.